there's already this groundswell of saying, hey, get ready.
Yes.
Be ready. Get your families ready. Save some money. All those things.
Mm-hmm.
What is the big gripe from players versus the owners?
Well, it's a little bit of everything, right? It's no different from, working for a Fortune 500 company where you feel like what you bring to the table isn't necessarily recognized, on a grander scale. For the players, it's more so like they want more from a revenue standpoint, want from benefits, from insurance. Like, hopefully they can work something out where it's lifetime insurance. Because at the end of the day, yes, we know what we're signing up for, but the industry is continuing to grow. So why wouldn't you want to help the guys that kind of was the foundation of the league? Different things like that, like, again, benefits and finding ways of helping players after the game is over. Because in our reality, most fans don't pay attention to players once they're done. But if you're fortunate enough to play 10 years like I was, well, the goal, the plan is to hopefully have lived way longer than I played,
Absolutely.
So you want the benefits of that as well, because the game is going to go on without you, and you help the game get to being a $12 billion business. Why aren't there other things in place for us that are getting banged up? And, I had a neck injury, just making sure that they're still on the hook to be able to help me get through this process if later on in life I need it.
How is your health?
I feel so good, man. I feel great.
That was scary, wasn't it?
It was a scary moment. It was a scary moment in my life. And what's even scarier, so I'm talking to some of these guys. I'm having a lot of my friends that I've played with through the years on my show, and I bumped into Jermichael Finley. And I knew of his injury, but I didn't know the extent of it. And we had the same exact injury.
Oh, wow.
But yet he told me, most people don't even know, he was paralyzed for a month.
Huh.
And, and I had to sit back and I dodged a bullet, like we had the same exact injury, same surgery, everything, but yet he actually was paralyzed for a month and yet he's still living with symptoms and different things like that. And I was just fortunate enough to know that I didn't experience any of that. So when people ask me, do I want to come back and all this? No, I'm good. I dodged a bullet. I played for 10 years, Pro Bowl, Super Bowl. What else can I do other than be selfish to my kids?
Yeah. How tough was that, though? Now,
yes.
I think you get perspective
for
from
sure.
a guy like Finley, or just in general, and life and kids and family is all good. And now you go, okay, that was a good decision. Yeah. And I always tell you always told your dad you'd play 10 years.
Yeah, you called it. You called it.
And that was good. I think that's a cool thing because you have your wits about you. You're healthy, at least it appears, and that's a good thing. But that was close. But still, you're a competitor.
Yes.
I know you didn't want to go out that way. It was not. It was risky as heck for you to maybe play again, wasn't it?
Oh, most definitely.
And were you still close to trying to play again?
Was I still close? Honestly, I think that night when the injury happened and the doctor came in and told me, hey, look, guy, most people don't walk in with this injury. They're paralyzed. Then it kind of was in the back of my head like, okay, this might really be over with. And then, you sit back and you kind of assess things and you start realizing, like, again, there's nothing else you can really do. As a competitor, of course, you want to play. And I also feel like I still left on my own terms. And I say that because there's still teams calling. There were still, people interested in having a pass rusher. And it's still me saying, you know what, I'm not going to sacrifice my life, my health anymore, to try to win a ring or whatever it may have been, because I've already experienced all those things.
Yeah, back to the players and against the owners potentially and the lockout stuff. If I give you these two things, this is what I look at. I don't know as much in detail as you guys. You guys lived it. Mm-hmm. But I look at two things. I always say I don't think players get paid enough. Now,
1,000%.
Now, I say that, but I'm not always referring to you.
Yeah.
A guy that gets a big contract. Because that seems like a lot of money to me.
Yeah.
What I say is the guy that's making the minimum.
Yep.
I just don't believe $450,000 for a guy to play, whether it's a year or sometimes not even you get that, but if it's a year or two on that minimum deal, is a lot of money for a guy running his head into a wall.
And those are usually your hardest workers. Those are usually your hardest workers and the guys that get banged up the most.
And will risk anything because they're trying to make
Because they're trying to make the team. So I agree 1,000%. I think the minimum should be higher. I think.
And guaranteed money. That's what I was going to ask.
Guaranteed money should be a part of the conversation. But it just doesn't make any sense. And yes, I understand the roster size and all these different things, but it just doesn't make any sense for the NFL to be the number one sports league in America by a large margin. I forget the exact numbers, by a large margin, but yet your guys can't be compensated. They aren't guaranteed contracts. They don't have guaranteed insurance or whatever the case may be, and yet you guys are generating all this money. So I agree 1,000% because those guys and really it's maybe 5 guys on the team that makes real money.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of
Absolutely.
things. You know, like the other 45, 49 guys or 45, 46 guys are making league minimum, and it's not really in the grand scheme of things worth it because you can get hurt and yet your money will also get taken away at the same time.
Yeah, no, we see is the Russell Wilson $30 million contract kind of guy,
Yes.
and it's a lot of the quarterbacks. But you know what I say about the NFL? Look around this place right in here, right? This place not only employs you and takes care of your family potentially and for millions of dollars, but it employs like
everyone.
All of us.
Yeah.
I mean, the NFL is so big that all these people in here are employed mostly because of it. Even in the media. I don't know if we would do as much as we do in local sports without the Jaguars being there. So we're all benefiting from it. I agree. I think players and especially those league minimum guys should benefit more. One more about that. Is it because you guys have also seen what the NBA makes silly money? MLB makes guaranteed money. Is it because of that, though, that finally guys in the NFL said, whoa, stop the car, man. Mm-hmm. These guys are all doing it. We're professional athletes just like them. Yeah. Our league is doing better, and yet these guys are walking away. These guys are turning down $240 million because they've already got $500 million.
Exactly. I don't know. I mean, that's a big part of it. I think guys have been fighting for this for a while.
Okay.
I think the league has always had the upper hand because what the NFL does so great, again, going back to what I mentioned earlier, is it's about the shield. It's about the shield. It's about the NFL. It's not about the players. It's not, although the players are what makes up the shield. It's about the NFL, and they do such a great job of making sure everybody leans on their side and persuades them with, you know, they run all the sports, channels. They run all the. I mean, heck, you got a football show, you got a sports talk show. 90% of your sports talk show during any season is probably going to be about the NFL. You know, so it's about guys just understanding that. I guess the understanding that they're what makes this run.
Yeah.
Now, once you understand your value, now you can kind of have a little rebuttal and like, listen, we're going to sit out for real this time. Will they? I think it's hard because of that 90% of guys that I was just saying that are league minimum are kind of, I hate to say living check to check, but that's really the situation for these guys. So are they going to be willing to miss a few games for the greater picture is going to be the big question. It's a bunch of 22-year-olds, a bunch of 23-year-olds. They can't think past next year. That's going to be the big question mark.
It is, and there's a line. There's a difference between guys that have been around it for a long time like yourself and those other guys that are just walking in, want an opportunity and dream big about playing on the big stage and might have it now. So it'll be fascinating. And you talk so well about it. I want to talk to you more as we get closer to it.
Yes.
But I also don't want to take much more of your time up. Clay High School still a very big deal to Cliff Avril. Cliff Avril still a very big deal to Clay High School as well. You always have your family fun weekend coming up again this summer.
Yes,
your Haiti project doing fantastic. Proud of you, man. That's a pretty cool thing. And you don't need me to be proud of you, but I'm sure so many people are proud of what you've created and what you've done to recognize your family heritage in Haiti.
I appreciate it, but you know what? What most people, you were my first interview. When I first got when I got drafted.
That's right, draft party. We had Gary Barnage on a couple weeks ago, and both you and Gary were there.
I think we were like the same day or something like that. But so it's just great to see you still doing well and you're succeeding. And then you got to kind of see the process. You actually got to see 2 guys from the 904 and actually have a decent career throughout the NFL. Living the dreams that so many back in Jacksonville are trying to do.
Yeah, and so many kids, talent, man. So much talent back there. But if
amazing.
they could be the next Cliff Avril, why did people miss on Cliff? Why didn't they know you were going to be as good as you were? Because you know what I always tell you? I said I can't believe that the Jags needed a Cliff Avril at the start of this whole build back in like 2000 when you were a free agent coming out of Detroit, 13. And they didn't go get you.
Yeah.
And they should have gone and got you. And that was only, by the way, like a 2-year, $20 million deal. Exactly. I think it was when that started in Seattle. Mm-hmm. They should have gone and got you, and they didn't. But why didn't people believe Cliff Avril could be what Cliff Avril became?
What he turned out to be? You know what? I don't know, but everything happens for a reason. I was one of those guys. I didn't start playing football till high school. I was one of those guys that wasn't necessarily a big name around town, but yet enough people knew about me. And that's kind of been my career. I went to Purdue, same concept, same thing. Made a name for yourself eventually and kind of grinded it out. And then I got to the NFL, same thing. I've led the league. I've led defensive ends in sacks a few times. I've led in hits.
Forced fumbles.
And forced fumbles, but yet never really got the recognition until the end. And for me, it's all about getting the recognition from your peers and all that good stuff. But I don't know. But I think it's a blessing in disguise, honestly, too, because I don't have to deal with all the madness that these superstars have to deal with either.
Hey, you know who you are? A lot like the guy we started the show with today, Yannick NGakoue for the Jaguars. Few people mention his name.
Player. Oh, I know about him. He's a solid player.
And he just said here on the show earlier, he said everybody's going to know who 91 is by the end of this season. So we'll see. But he's same respect. I mean, he's had like 20-something sacks in the last 2 years, and but he doesn't get the notoriety. Mm-hmm. Like you should have got more notoriety when you were playing. We got to let you go. How hard is this next 48 hours for these Super Bowl teams?
If they aren't getting any rest right now, it's going to be extremely hard. But I think right around this time is when guys are super anxious. They're ready because it's the longest time they've ever had to actually prepare for one game. Because typically you only get about 4 days. So guys are antsy. Guys are ready to get out there. And now it's just all about them just being able to kick their feet up, get away from their family, and just kind of get in a routine.
Cliff Avril, why don't you wear the ring, man?
Everybody's been asking me that, and I'm like, I only wear it for big events, and everybody's like, well, it is the Super Bowl. Like, oh, yeah, you're right.
You walk around with the ring, not only do your radio show, you probably get a couple more endorsement deals.
You're right. I know. Hey, it's my first time on this side. Next year, I guarantee you I have it.
All right. Hey, you're going to join us again, though,
yes,
whether
sir.
It's from Seattle or when you're back in Jacksonville. Good luck with all the off-season stuff in terms of the not off-season stuff, but the trips to Haiti and all the work you're doing there. And, again, we'll see you in the summer when you come back to Clay.
Sounds good. It's always great seeing you, my man.
All right.
Yes,
Cliff Avril, former Detroit Lion, former Super Bowl champ with the Seattle Seahawks, and now radio star out in Seattle. He was a radio star this last 15 minutes. Appreciate him stopping by. More to come from Radio Row on ESPN 690 right after this. Nice job, Coos. You didn't forget about it. I did. I must admit. Don't forget about the happy hour horn.
I forgot just a little bit there.
Live from Radio Row in Atlanta, Georgia. Super Bowl 53. Brent Martineau, Stuart Weber, and Justin Couzart back home. You miss us, Couz?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Couz is working so hard. We got him taking in all these interviews. We got trying to fix streams and podcasts. You're doing a good job back there, man.
Yeah, I've been on the phone with Apple Podcasts because they're the last ones to approve us right now. So
people are excited about the podcast starting up. So glad you're working on that. We should have it firing pretty soon. And right now, it's cool. We have on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. We have the video stream here from Radio Row, and this is a thing that we really wanted to do, not just when we're on the road, but back home. That's why we have the cameras in the studio. And now Couz has figured out a way. We've got comments on the right side. So if you comment, you have to go to that page, whether it's the ESPN 690 Facebook page, or you can go to the initial tweet of the video. And if you make a comment or ask a question or don't like something we say, be nice about it, please. But it will show up so we can see them and read them. And Big Pat 161, I think it says, let's go Jags. There you go. See? Just like that. It just popped up, and I can see it and read it. So chime in on the conversation. It's the fun part of this.
I was a big fan of Jay Bayer 6's comment.
Well, yeah, it was something about
should be Action Sports Stu.
Yeah, well, Jay Bayer, I think it feels like he's a little mole for Stu Gotz's show.
Well, my name is Stuart, so anytime he says anything positive towards any Stu, I'm just going to imply it's about me.
I think that's a good way to do it. And he said, should be Action Sports Stu.
Although Stu does take a piece of art out of my name.
Oh, gosh, here we go again. Stu Gotz, by the way, I just saw today their podcast is the #1 podcast going.
Well, congratulations.
Not just in sports.
It must have been the bump from when he was on ESPN 690.
I think it was. Across all platforms.
The 690 bump.
We got to get to a point we get that big, all right? We got a lot of work to do, but we want to be #1 across all the podcasts. Like he beat out Oprah. Dan Le Batard and Stu Gotz's podcast beat out Oprah.
Wow. I mean, that's a name drop.
Has
right
anybody
there.
ever beaten Oprah?
No, nobody has.
Nobody's
ever.
bigger than Oprah.
I mean, goodness gracious.
But anyway, join the conversation if you can. Good to have Cliff Avril on. We have so much going on here, I forget some of the guests that are coming on. Yannick NGakoue already joined us. You'll hear our conversation with Allen Robinson coming up in a bit, Mike Golic coming up in a bit. We had Vito Stellino on, Richard Graves, and right now I want you to hear from Jedd Fisch, who's obviously part of the L.A. Rams, coaching staff, former Jags offensive coordinator. It did not go well in Jacksonville for Jedd Fisch. Then he went to Michigan, worked under Jim Harbaugh. Went to UCLA, worked under Jim